Welcome to Thomasville Insights with the City of Thomasville. On the podcast, we'll talk to experts on everything from Thomasville history and events to daily operations and city business, all while having some fun in the process.
Welcome to Thomasville Insights with the City of Thomasville. I am Austin Reams, and I am here with our regular co-host, Ricky Zambrano. Welcome, Ricky.
I like that word regular. You know what? It's just a regular day and just happy to be here, man.
That's right. Just another day in paradise, although the big news around these here parts is Ricky, and congratulations, Ricky, to winning the Chamber of Commerce Man of the Year. Again, super proud for me, for you, and for this award and all the hard work and just service to the community it reflects on you. And your speech was great and well-deserved. And I was totally hoping you were going to mess up. Oh, we'll get to the mess up, but it was really good.
Yeah, I know I messed up. I called you part of the marketing ladies, but I think you'll get over it.
Never.
But more importantly,
now let's go to the details here.
You want to go to those details?
He said he did a great job thanking his wife and his children and his in-laws and the city of Thomasville. I mean, he was just knocking it out of the park, people. It was amazing. And then he said, "I want to thank the ladies of the marketing department." And I am in the marketing department, and I'm not a lady. So was it like a subtle dig? I mean, was your subconscious just trying to get me? What's going on in the mind of Ricky?
Sometimes when the shoe fits, you know. No, it probably is one of those where, you just, we're not perfect, right?
Yeah.
And, here's the thing with me. I probably had it in my notes, and I get up there and I go from the heart. And which makes it sound worse, right? That means you're not in my heart.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And but it's funny, you spend some time preparing.
Yeah.
And throw those out the window and you just start speaking and you just keep on rolling. And I meant to say, the ladies and Austin for a secondary dig, and I just missed the secondary dig because I was so worried about making sure I properly saluted the ladies.
Sure,
because you got proper. I mean, there are a couple things you got to do. I could have messed up talking about Chris White.
Yeah,
right, but you can't mess up talking about the in-laws.
That's right. Yeah, no, sir.
You can't mess up talking about the ladies of the marketing team.
That's right.
The real ladies of the marketing, the ones we answer to. So it's pretty easy. We live in a simple world, right?
Yeah.
We just say yes.
That's right. That's right. So one of the things I was thinking about, and then we're going to get to the interview, just real quick though. One of the things I love about your story, and we don't talk about this a lot, but you came from soccer. You probably gave up that dream. Again, we haven't talked about this, but I see this pattern, and it's a pattern that is kind of neat, and that is sometimes in the lost dream, something else grows there, and you've grown something else there that's pretty special. So you want to comment on that real quick?
Well, we don't want to keep Felicia hanging around here a little bit.
Sorry, Felicia.
But here's the reality, when you're coaching, it's more than a game, right? You're trying to grow your athletes into being more than what they are on the field. You're trying to make them well-rounded individuals. You're helping to make them well-rounded. They make the ultimate choice, but you're trying to help them academically. You're trying to help them to grow as people, as men and women. And then you're trying to get them obviously to grow, on the field. And the common denominator in all that is service, right? So when I had the chance, when Cheryl Seeley came to me and gave me the opportunity to lead our community outreach efforts, it was a pretty easy match because it's something I've believed in since day one in coaching. It's something I preached since day one in coaching. And it's something that I have a passion for because of the learning, the teachings of my parents, of the importance and the value of of service. So it's been a pretty simple transition in that way, even with that kind of that little left turn that all all of a sudden left turn away from the coaching world, and then having the opportunity to come here because when you work for our organization, regardless of what role you have, you are a servant of our community, a servant leader of our community. And whether it's our fire department, our police department, the guys who keep the lights on, the guys who fix the potholes, all of the men and women of our organization are servant leaders of our community. And as I said that night, it's not speech talk, it's my true feeling. My teammates, yourself included, believe it or not, are the true men and women of the year. I just stood up there and received it on behalf of our organization. I didn't receive it on behalf of me. I received it on behalf of our organization and on behalf of the teachings of my parents.
Mm-hmm. I would be way more selfish in receiving. I'm just being honest. I'm going to break this moment, but
I'll tell you one more thing, Austin.
Yeah,
well,
we
gotta get to Felicia. We gotta get to Felicia, but this kind of sums it up, man. And I'm being totally honest here. When my teams were lucky enough to win championships on the field, you know how they normally present those to coaches. I've never accepted it first. Always had our players accept it first. And there were years where we had JV teams, right? And those players weren't there at wherever those sites were. We took the trophy home and handed it to all of our JV players first before I even touched it. That's just my belief in the role that everybody plays in the team. And I'm getting emotional talking about that a little bit because, again, it's all of our organization plays a role in everything that we do. And there's not one event that we do, but the other part of our organization is the unspoken one, and that's our community. And when we do all of these events that we're blessed to be able to do for our community, it's not the same unless we have our community right there by our side, partnering with us to get them done.
Yeah, one of the unspoken members that isn't very loud but plays a huge role, and is Felicia Brannen here with us today. And when you talk about the show is about kind of civic education and civic, what we're learning today. How was I like civics, but I didn't learn local civics. But I liked it's kind of I nerded out about civics and stuff. How was that for you?
History class and all that stuff.
I mean,
social studies. But that's the key part, right? We're always learning. So we get another chance today to learn from a great one in Felicia in regards to what is the ins and outs of our city government. And this is going to be a great segment. And let's get into some learning. So we're lucky enough to have with us Felicia Brannen, our city clerk, and we're going to talk a little bit about city government. So Felicia, welcome to our podcast, and let's get things started really simple. You recently had a work anniversary.
I did.
Yes, you did. And so how long have you been part of Team Thomasville?
Forever. For 20 years, I've worked in Main Street. I've moved over to City Clerk in 2017. And in that 20 years, there's never been a dull moment.
Absolutely.
Surely isn't. And now she's here.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what she means by the never a dull moment.
That's right. Today. That's right. And I can agree with you. Having been here a while, there's a lot going on with City Clerk and a lot going on in Main Street. So a lot of good stories that you can tell and then not tell. But tell me about the role of City Clerk. What do you do?
Well, the role of a city clerk is different depending on where you are, but for the majority of it, you're the record keeper of the municipality. You have all of their minutes, you put together the council's agendas, you keep up with all of the records and things like that. And here in Thomasville, what I also do is I qualify the candidates for the municipal general election. So that's where it's a little bit different. The election is actually run by Thomas County, but I qualify those candidates. So that's another thing that I do here.
Let's talk council. How is our city council structured?
We have 5 council members, And those 5 council members are elected by the voters of the city of Thomasville. There's 2 districts, and there's 1 position at large.
And the terms are how long?
They are 4-year terms.
Now, a common misconception, okay, is the role of mayor. Some believe, or maybe not informed, would be the way to say it, that we do not vote for mayor here.
No, we don't. And that's actually laid out in the city's charter, and that's section 2.32, and it states in there that the 5 council members will vote amongst themselves for the mayor and the mayor pro tem.
Yeah.
And we recently had a vote for mayor and mayor pro tem with our new mayor, Scott Chastain, and a new mayor pro tem, Miss Lucinda.
Yep. And so that's been and the mayor role is a little bit, different. As an example, like the mayor of New York City is kind of an administrator, but, the mayor and council here are just kind of more like a board kind of policy thing.
Yes.
Is that can you get into a little bit more of that? I'm kind of
Yes.
jumping around here, but.
It's ceremonial for the most part. The mayor presides at all of the meetings of city council. They're the head of the city for the purpose of service and process for ceremonial purposes. They have the power to administer oaths and take affidavits. And they sign as a matter of course on the behalf of the city on the written contracts and things like that.
Yeah.
And another thing that a lot of people don't realize, none of our council members are full-time employees, whereas in other municipalities and other cities and other counties, the commissioners or the council members are paid employees and elected, but they're
Right.
paid, and it's a full-time position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
That's
it's kind of they're kind of, if people maybe, an example is kind of like, like a corporation has a board who helps decide policies. That's kind of what they're doing, which is a lot of towns are structured that way. So, yeah.
Yes.
And it's important oversight.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is important oversight, and we appreciate everything that they do, while many of them are running their own businesses or have gone into a life of retirement and take on, serving the community in the role of as a council member, which does occupy a lot of time.
It does.
Yeah. Getting into more specifics here, Felicia, tell me the difference between a city council workshop and a city meeting, and just, when do those take place too?
The city council workshops are really a time for the council members to hear from staff and from the city manager what things will be brought to them for a vote. And that's their time to ask the questions of staff, why are we doing this? What does it cost? Things like that. And the council meeting is more formal. That's where they actually do the voting for what they've discussed on that Wednesday prior. The Wednesday workshops are on the first and third Wednesdays of every month, unless something comes up or there's a holiday. And council meetings are typically the second and fourth Monday of the month. There again, unless there is, some calendar conflicts or holidays or things like that.
There are situations sometimes where it may land on a Memorial Day and we move it, or Martin Luther King Day. So there are some times where we have moved those to a Tuesday meeting or something along those lines.
Yes.
As a reminder, all city council meetings are open to the public, and if you cannot attend, we do encourage citizens to follow along via live stream by visiting thomasville.org. So there is always an opportunity, whether you can attend or not, to be a part of the meetings.
Yeah, is it fair to say that a council meeting or workshop is the best way for a citizen to share their concerns with the council, or how does that work?
It is a way for them to share their concerns, but it may not be the most effective way. Typically, when those concerns are brought to council, it's matters that are on the day-to-day operations of the city. And when the question is asked in a council meeting, those council members need a fair amount of time to go research, and they can't provide an answer right away. So it may be best if they go through the department head, where they've got that area of concern, go through that department head. And if that doesn't work, then try the city manager's office and go that way. But council members can also be contacted directly by email.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is a key point because during those segments of Citizens to be Heard, they have 3 minutes. So it's not a forum where it's to their benefit to be able to express themselves during those 3 minutes and not engage in back and forth conversation because obviously those 3 minutes could go very quickly. They do go quickly.
Yeah.
And they'd be that much more if it was back and forth conversation. So as Felicia said, it's definitely not the place where they're always going to get the answers, but if they pursue those other options that Felicia was sharing, there's a lot more they can get done in that avenue.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just kind of a, just kind of a logical way to approach that. And a lot of your department heads can give you a lot more details of, I mean, I don't know, I'm trying to come up with an example on the fly, but let's just say, you have a water leak close to your house and it's a continuous problem. Try to contact the water department, send emails, and then, then there may be like an overall issue that you want to talk to council about or something like that. I mean, is that a fair way to say it? Or
it is. That is a very fair way to say it.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think it is important while you mention things like that. Obviously, we have a lot of parameters in place. If we have a utility issue, we encourage the community to reach out to our URC, Utility Response Center, which has a 24-hour call line and address matters through there. Sometimes we will get those comments on our social media that I have a water leak, and those are not, social media is not monitored 24 hours a day. So situations like that, and the same thing would go with reaching out versus to a council member regarding maybe a utility issue. You are always best served going to URC first and then letting them handle it and go from there. So as we go back to talking about meetings a little bit, when we're at meetings, oftentimes you hear about council voting on resolutions or ordinances. What's the difference between the two?
An ordinance is actually legislation, local law. That's where they've set the speed limit for the city of Thomasville. It's enforceable laws. The resolution those deal more with matters that provide an opinion of council, or they are doing more than one thing that's a simple motion. They're asking for the authorization of the mayor to sign something. They're also asking for acceptance of a grant or things. The resolutions are not as formal.
I got you. So it's just not a law as well. Yeah.
No, they're not really the laws. The ordinances do that.
All right.
And then we'll oftentimes also hear, about a first and second reading. What's the difference between a first and a second reading?
In our code and our charter, the ordinances that do set these laws have to be read 2 times. And what that means is they're brought to the public and to council on the first reading. They talk about it, what this ordinance is going to change or what it's going to do. And then that gives the community time to look at that ordinance, form any opinions, make any comments. And then the second reading is typically at the next council meeting. And that's the second and final reading.
Yeah. And you've had, you can probably remember many times where something gets brought first reading and, it gets brought to the public and it's like, well, we like this, but we don't like that. And it kind of gets redone. And, it's a really valuable process is what I'm getting at. So
yes, it is. They'll read it on that first time. There's been ordinances where the community said, hey, we don't like this part of it. There was a change to it. And when they brought it back the second time, that change was in there and they discussed that change and how it worked.
Yeah. And then in that change, just so people will know, you change it, you still have to have a first and second reading to have an ordinance. Is that how that works? Or
no, once they do that change and they're ready and everybody's agreeable with what's going for the second reading, that second reading is the final.
Okay. All
and
right. Interesting. Okay.
Once that's done, and depending on how that ordinance is written, it's effective immediately or it's effective as the date that is set in the ordinance. Sometimes those ordinances are immediate. Sometimes they're January of the next year.
Yeah.
And oftentimes before those first readings, there are public sessions, public information sessions that are held. But I think another part of the whole process of first and second reading, it is fair to say there are sometimes where something gets tabled to gather more information to things of that nature.
Yes.
Is that accurate?
Yes, because we want the community input to make those laws before they are actually voted in.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense of, and that's just kind of civics 101 as we're talking about, and just kind of the name of the game for democracy is like you don't want to put something out there that we didn't think about this or this issue, or citizens don't want this. This is kind of the inevitable back and forth of what you do, which is kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not to get too far off topic, but that is the challenge of communication, correct? Because quite often, let's say somebody shows up and it might be a second reading, and someone may believe fair enough that they may believe hearing there that I had never heard this. That's why we encourage so much, and our council, I believe, does a great job of encouraging citizens to show up to meetings. Not just when they may have a matter, but just show up to continue to be informed about what's going on. And I think, like I said, I think our council does a great job of encouraging our citizens to come out. And like we mentioned, you can continue to be, if you can't be there, you can watch the live stream and then contact the council members or leadership with their input.
Yeah, and so speaking of that, how can citizens, where can they find, we talked about a live stream, but where can they find city ordinances, meetings, minutes, all that?
All of that is on our website at thomasville.org. There's the tabs across the top for Live. There's also city government. In the majority of those tabs, you will find a link that says city ordinances. That's where all the ordinances are held. There's the calendar of public events and meetings, and that is there as well. You can click on the calendar and go to that agenda. The agendas are also in there under city government, so they're all online.
Very good.
And so let's get into a little bit of interesting one. I'm really curious about what your thoughts are on this. What is a common misconception about your job or about city government in general?
That it's easy.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
One of the things that I deal with on a daily basis are open record requests. And a lot of people will assume that everything is public and they can go in and get it at a moment's notice. Yes, it's public, but there's certain parameters that have to be followed by Georgia law as what can be released. There's personal identifying information that cannot go out, things like that. And sometimes our records have that information in there, and that's not allowed to go out.
Yeah. As an example, if somebody asks for a police body cam video,
right?
Give me, expound more on that.
Okay. Typically, when those requests come in, they come in to me, and then I'll forward it over to the police department. They have to find that video after it's been downloaded from the officer themselves. They find it, then they have to go through, and it depends on who's asking as well. If this is an attorney that's asking for part of a case that they're working on, certain things will be redacted and other things will not. If it's just a general public wanting that information, sometimes they have to provide their reason why, and it's all within the parameters of state law and what records are not to be disclosed.
Yeah, and as an example, if there's like some personal information that's on the video, like that doesn't get, that's not a part of open records. You can't have that, obviously.
Exactly. Like there's a traffic stop. The officer is going to ask for your cell number, your address, things like that. Stuff like that cannot go out by law.
Yeah.
And that's not dictated locally. That's dictated by state law.
But that would be something that we would all want,
right.
Like we would want that to be protected. So, I mean, so that kind of thing. Are there any other like misconceptions that you have on your job? I mean, I know open records, you do a lot of that. Also, obviously record keeping is difficult and tedious, and you're like one for the job. I would not be a good city clerk. Organization is not my deal, but other misconceptions people have?
That the city is operating without input. There's numerous times for input, and that input is recorded through minutes. I mean, that's all of the city council meeting minutes are out there online. All of that's there. That's one of the misconceptions. So,
Okay, Felicia, let's play. We'll play a game here as we end up the interview. Let's play a game of true false. Again, a lot of misconceptions out there. A lot of, again, it's just processes and things that people need to know. So let's ask you a couple of questions here. Is this true or this false? All right, true or false? The city council and city leadership can have decision-making jurisdiction outside the city limits.
That is false. City council is the governing body for the city of Thomasville within the city limits.
Outside of city limits would be?
Thomas County.
Thomas County. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right, here we go. Question number 2. City manager, all on his own, can set an ordinance.
False. Absolutely false. He cannot. That is the job of the city council.
Yeah.
Make sure you let Chris.
Yeah, we'll make sure we let Chris know. And again, like we talked about, the city council are policymakers, right? They decide, they're a board, they decide the law. And so that's that part of that is nobody else, nobody else can do that. They do that.
They have the final say.
As we mentioned, all of them rolled through a session of public input as well. So
yeah. Yes, they do.
All right, true or false? Citizens have multiple ways of shaping our city.
That is true. They do. There's lots of ways to be involved. One of those ways is to complete application to be part of boards and commissions. Sit on those boards, on those commissions, and offer your service.
Yeah. And, come into council meetings, city council takes that in. Everybody, I can say as an employee, we're in tune with what people are saying and issues that are out there that we need to be aware of and work on. I mean, there's all kinds of ways. There
is. And all of the meetings are public, so the public can attend to any of them.
Well, Felicia, we appreciate what you do. City clerk is one of those kind of, one of those roles that's hugely important and it maybe the public doesn't see it, but we appreciate what you do and all the hard work that you put in to make everything run smooth and be transparent. All those are one of those things that we really want our citizens to know how much their input is valuable and just how valuable what you bring to the table every week.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Felicia and I share a commonality. Her office sits right smack in the middle of two of her bosses, the city manager and the assistant city manager, as does mine, right in between the director of marketing and our managing director of marketing communications. So we both have to behave a lot.
That's right.
We're surrounded by our leadership.
I'm not worried about Felicia behaving. It's
well, that's why we send you all the way out here to the studio.
Yeah, I'm in exile.
We send the bad guys out to the studio. Right. So you worried about me. We worried about you.
They don't let me out, as I say often.
Your little cave over here.
I'm the Boo Radley of the city of Thomasville. They just kind of set me in a house by myself. So,
Felicia, I share Austin's appreciation for you being here with us. It certainly is important information that we share with the community, and that's what we're here for. That with this podcast is to continue to provide information. I met one of my neighbors the other day and had a long conversation, and she said she listens to the podcast.
All right.
And she moved here recently and has had the opportunity to learn a lot about the community because she's been listening to the podcast. So, believe it or not, contrary to popular belief of both of our wives, we do get something accomplished here.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, thanks for all our listeners. So, and we enjoy doing it. Hope you guys enjoy listening.
All right. Time for a little fun. In honor of the bicentennial, our 2026 podcast will include a little bit of Thomasville history. A Did You Know segment that we've been having a little bit of fun with it. This information is provided to us by the Thomasville History Center. So here we go.
Right.
Did you know that in 1825, Thomas County is created from parts of Irwin and Decatur counties, which were created in 1818 by a bill introduced by Pebble Hill Plantation founder Thomas Jefferson Johnson. And then in 1826, the settlement of Thomasville is named the seat of Thomas County. So as we sign off today, again, on my part, a big thank you to our listeners, and we hope that we are providing information that's beneficial. But here's some more information that's beneficial. We talk about opportunities to have input. We have our Coffee and Conversations kicking off, the 2026 series kicking off. It will kick off on Tuesday, February 24th from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. at the Thomas County Public Library. A great opportunity to come hear from our city managers and provide them with some concerns. You know, these are the opportunities that are out there to share concerns that they listen to. This is an open discussion. It's roundtable discussion, a little bit of coffee, but they are going to be sharing a lot of information on the $52+ million that are part of our budget this year in capital improvements. So there's important information that goes with that. So we encourage as many of our listeners to join us a couple of days from now. We also, in a couple of days, we'll have our 9th annual Black History Parade and Celebration on Saturday, February 28th. The parade begins at 10 a.m. through downtown Thomasville. I have heard we have historic numbers participating in the parade. So kudos to everybody that is joining us for the parade, all the floats and the walkers and the vehicles that'll be a part of it. There will be a celebration immediately following the parade at the Ritz Amphitheater. Music, local school performances, African dancers and drummers, TCCHS and THS drum lines, food vendors, and much, 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 much more, including me.
That's right. It's always fun. I enjoy kind of, we have several parades. I cover them all due to my line of work, and I always enjoy.
Felicia, you heard what he said. He's trying to say he makes those events like they're there and they're successful.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
That's his way. That's what he's throwing in.
I've documented a lot of parades in my career. And they're all fun. I
thought Felicia did the documentation around
they're all fun. But the Black History Parade is fun. I like kind of how personable it is, very kind of laid back, and it's just everybody just kind of lays back and has a good time. So I recommend people coming out and enjoying the Black History Parade.
And a little change to it this year because it's the final Saturday of the month versus what it's been the last couple of years on the first final Saturday of the month versus the first Saturday of the month. And I think it's a cool way to finish off the month-long celebration of Black history. So looking forward.
Yep. Again, Felicia, thank you. Thanks to the audience, and remind everyone to subscribe to our podcast and listen to it. And share it with your friends on your favorite listening app.
You've been listening to Thomasville Insights with the City of Thomasville. The show is produced by the City of Thomasville Marketing Department. The show's music is by pond5.com. To learn more about the City of Thomasville, visit thomasville.org or follow us on social media. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite listening app so you don't miss an episode. Thanks for listening.